and this is the part that is amazing to me, she stopped crying. We had a really big communication breakthrough with Tessie at home this weekend, and that is what I want to talk about today. It actually was captured by our dining room camera that we have in the dining room. If you're new here, we have cameras all over our house and all over the outside of our house. It's because Maggie elopes, and it is so during dinner time, I can keep an eye on her with our Google Home system, and I can watch whatever's going on and make sure that she's not breaking out of a window or managing to break through a lock on a door, climb over a fence, and elope again. Everyone knows I'm distracted, and if someone's gonna get in trouble, that is when things are gonna happen. However, this time, what that dining room camera captured, what was happening in the dining room, and I'm not sure how well you are gonna be able to tell without my commentary what's going on, but I did make a clip of it, and I am gonna show it after I explain what happened. What happened was this. I was just finishing up dinner, Paul was getting drinks for the kids, and all of a sudden, Tessie let out a scream. Paul had just put her in her high chair about a minute beforehand. Sadie was sitting right next to her in her seat waiting for dinner, and everyone was kind of coming into the dining room, getting ready, sitting down for dinner. But Tessie let out a scream, and if you don't know Tessie, Tessie is generally a really laid-back little kid. From basically birth, she hasn't really cried at all. That was, for us, one of the first signs that something was not quite neurotypical about her. She didn't really cry ever unless something was seriously wrong. When Tessie let out the scream, I recognized it right away as a pain scream. Right away, Paul said to me that he had checked and he knew that nothing in the seat was pinching her. And so he got out to her first, and I came out there second and knelt down next to her and started asking her what was wrong. And she was really upset. She was sobbing and she was rubbing her right eye. And I started looking at her right eye, trying to see what was wrong, trying to see if something was in it, if my thought at the time was that maybe she had an eyelash in it and that was painful, or that she had scratched it somehow. I was thinking something along those lines because she was still crying, and it just sounded to me like it was her pain cry more than anything else. And I was asking her what was wrong, and then I heard her say, and I know it's kind of hard to hear in the video because it was chaotic. There were 5 kids in the room. Maggie was sort of running back and forth, checking on her. All the kids were worried about Tessie because Tessie is definitely the baby of the family, and everyone sort of fawns over her. So all of a sudden, her little voice said, "I hurt." And I said, "You hurt, Tessie?" And she said it about, I think, 5 times. She said, "I hurt. I hurt." And I said, "Tessie, does your eye hurt? Is it your eye?" Because she was still rubbing that right eye. And the thing about Tessie is that she sucks her thumb all the time, but she also holds her ear when she sucks on her thumb. So it would be really hard for us to tell, and we've talked about this before. She hasn't had a ton of ear infections, but she's had a few ear infections over the last 3 years. And one of the things that I've commented on to her doctors is that it's hard to tell when she has an ear infection because she's always holding on to her ear as a comfort. So I don't really notice if she's holding on to it more, because she is anyways. So I asked her, "Is it your eye? Did you hurt your eye? Does your eye hurt?" And she went like this, and she pointed with a perfect little point, which is something we work on so much at occupational therapy, to her ear. She pointed to her ear. And I said, "Your ear hurts?" And this is the part that is amazing to me. She stopped crying. She stopped crying very quickly, just about immediately. She'd already calmed down. When I said, "Oh, you hurt," and I started talking to her, and she saw that we understood that she hurt, she calmed down probably about by half. Like, she was no longer hysterical. She was just kind of doing that crying, and was obviously feeling a lot better that, like, we were talking to her and trying to figure out what was wrong. And then when I said, "Oh, it's your ear that hurts," she completely stopped crying and was just looking at me. And I said, "Okay, let's get you some medicine." And I didn't really want to leave her there because she was obviously also comforted that I was there. It's like, "Okay, your ear hurts. I'm so glad you were able to tell us and let us know that your ear hurts." And Paul finally came out with with the stuff that he'd been getting, and he was like, go get the medicine. And so I ran in there and I got the Motrin and I came out. Now, in the past, when Tessie's needed medicine, it's been kind of hit or miss whether or not she would actually take it, because she also has a really strong oral aversion. She didn't start solids until she was 15 months old because she would not tolerate anyone else putting anything near her mouth. She has been really iffy about ever taking any sort of medicine when she's needed it. It's been really hard to do. She still doesn't like people putting things in her mouth or touching her mouth despite years of OT. So I brought the medicine out and I said, Tessie, this is medicine. This is medicine that will make your ear hurt less. And Sadie was like, it is. It will make you feel so much better, Tessie, if you take this medicine. And she looked at it and she opened her mouth and she took the medicine. Within half an hour, she was back to giggling and bouncing off the walls. But that communication was amazing. And it just shows how important it is to presume competence, because at home, Tessie doesn't really have words. I know that she says quite a few words at school now, repeating things back when she's being coached on saying things, and when she's in speech, she can make a lot of sounds, but that hasn't been generalized yet. And so at home, we still hear like maybe mama when she's looking for me, and maybe dada for Paul. Sometimes, rarely, she says D for Sadie if she like really wants Sadie to play with her, and maybe go. But she does not have very many words that she doesn't have a ton of words that she actually uses. And so for her to be able to use her words to tell me that she hurt, and then for her to be calmed down by that understanding that we knew and that we were going to be able to help her, that is huge. It was just a really big moment, and it just really confirmed how important it is to presume competence, how important it is not to assume that just because somebody can't express something verbally, it doesn't mean that they don't know what's going on, and that they don't have all these things going on in their head that they want to be able to communicate, or that they don't understand what you're saying in front of them. That's so important, because time and time again, what I've seen being Maggie's mom is that she may not have a ton of words to abstractly express herself, but that she has proven over and over again that she understands what people are saying in front of her, and that she doesn't miss anything. And so it's so important for us to remember that, especially around people who aren't verbal, or who aren't always verbal, or who just don't have a ton of words. I want to share with you the clip of what happened. I know it is very chaotic. Dinner time can be very chaotic here, getting food out to everybody and getting everyone fed. So I'm going to share that right now.
Everything should be good. No. Do you think something hurts? Yeah. I think your eye hurts. Eye hurts? This hurt? Ow. some medicine, okay? Yeah, it hurts.
Alright, come on, catch the front of your hot dog.
That's called your ear. Your ear.
Catch, you want ketchup?
Your ear hurts? Ear hurts. It
James,
hurts.
you want ketchup on your hot dog?
It hurts. Ow, it hurts. It hurts.
And that is it for today. If you like this video, we'd love it if you'd give it a thumbs up. And if you're interested in all things autism, we'd love it if you'd hit subscribe. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.